Thyroid issues suck, and for those who have it, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and for those who don't have it, you're very lucky that you don't have thyroid issues because it can affect every part of your body. I'm going to talk about when I was diagnosed with Graves' disease. So, in 2006, I was taking Celexa at the time, which is an SSRI. I was taking it for panic attacks. Didn't really help for the panic attacks, but I decided I wanted to go off of it. And I did get off of it. And I don't remember the exact timeline of everything, but I went off and I felt the best I had felt in a very long time. This was the spring and summer of 2006. So I was 16 years old, and I felt so good, and I felt so normal. I had emotion again. I had energy. And this went on for, a few months, maybe 5 or 6 months. And then I started to get hyperthyroid symptoms. And at the time I didn't know that that's what I was experiencing, but basically what was happening is I was beginning to sweat a lot. My stress threshold had gone away completely. I was stressed constantly. Sweating, stressed, tremors. I was experiencing horrible headaches because I was sweating so much and it was making me dehydrated. So this was the fall of 2006, and I was a sophomore in high school. And I was up at boarding school, and I was playing soccer at the time, and I just remember feeling horrible, absolutely horrible. I didn't have anxiety though, and I was just going about my day. I remember the experiences, the symptoms being just very uncomfortable. And it was just horrible physical symptoms, but I didn't have basically any anxiety. I would I would sometimes have panic attacks, but they weren't very often. And I think it was just related to the fact that I was getting, my TSH was so low. And I remember telling my parents at the time, and they decided to contact the doctor, and they tested me for Lyme disease, but they also tested me for thyroid, thyroid disease, because both of my sisters had Graves' disease. So the Lyme came back negative, and of course, the thyroid came back positive. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease in October of 2006. I was put on Tapazole, and they upped my Tapazole after about a month because they wanted quicker results. And when they upped it, I developed horrible joint pain. And it was so severe, I became bedridden for about 3 weeks. And I was in excruciating pain. Some of the worst physical pain I've ever had in my life. Probably the worst. And they took me off Tapazole because they thought I was allergic to it. So I was put on PTU, and PTU is not the best option for Graves' disease, but I was put on PTU, and the severe arthritis that I was experiencing, it ended up going away, and I was put back on Celexa. I don't even really know why, because I was having anxiety because of the arthritis, but I wasn't depressed. I wasn't having anxiety. I wasn't having panic attacks. I don't think I should have been put back on Celexa. I think that anyone would have experienced anxiety during this horrible arthritis episode that I was experiencing. I think anyone would have been a little concerned and worried, and I think that was just all normal responses. It was a normal response. I was scared. So, but for some reason, I was thrown back on Celexa, and I took that throughout high school. I did end up getting, better, but I still dealt with Graves' disease, and I did not have a healthy thyroid at all. It was, I had a lot of fluctuations. I would go hypothyroid, and then I would be hyper. It was always very difficult to control my TSH. And in 2011, when I was off at college, I decided to try to go off the Celexa. And my thyroid levels went so far out of range, hypothyroid, right when I tried to go off the Celexa. And the fall of 2011 is when like the hell really started for me. And then December 23rd, 2011, I've talked about all of this in my other video, the 3 videos on my YouTube channel, the first 3 videos, the My Story videos where I talk about just everything up to the current position that I'm in. But December 23rd, 2011, worst day of my life, the worst I've ever felt in my life. I ended up getting my thyroid removed on March 21st of 2012. And the reason I had to do that was because the Graves' disease was getting so out of control. It was affecting my adrenal glands. I was, again, bedridden from late December to like early February, probably. And I was still really sick after that. But the Graves' disease affected my adrenal glands. And the Graves' disease got so bad because I started trying to wean off of the Celexa, which threw my whole body into this like state of shock, basically. I just find it very strange that the first time that I went off Celexa, it was like 6 to 9 months later is when I got the diagnosis for Graves' disease. And then when I tried to go off of Celexa in 2011, my thyroid levels went completely out of range. I just find it very strange that anytime I do anything with an antidepressant, it seems to affect my thyroid levels. And I've talked about this on my other videos. It's all just very frustrating. But yeah, that's basically my story with Graves. Like throughout high school, I dealt with it. It was still very uncomfortable. But when I tried to go off the Celexa, it got so out of control. I thought I was going to die. And I've had that fear where I think I'm probably going to die a lot of times over the past 13 years. And that's caused a lot of trauma. But yeah, that's basically my story with Graves. And now, since I don't have a thyroid, every morning I have to take the replacement thyroid pill, and I'm currently taking Levoxyl. I don't know if that is the right medication for me, but I am seeing my endocrinologist next week. I'm going to try to figure it out. Armor, I took for, I explained this, I took it for 10 years and seemed to work for a while. And I don't know if they changed the formula, but I started to get really bad anxiety and I wanted to just try to go back to Levoxyl. I don't know if the Levoxyl's causing problems. It's just so frustrating to not have answers when there's so many different things going on. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what the cause is. And that is what's so frustrating about chronic illness and mental health. It's just you never know what could be causing what. So you have to try all these different things at all these different times. And if one thing doesn't work, that could be days to weeks to months of your life that you have to, try to feel better. And then if that doesn't work, it just goes on and on and on until you find the right combination of things at work. And it's just so frustrating to have so many months to years at this point of your life just gone. And I'm not trying to be negative, but I know others with thyroid issues or Lyme or lupus or whatever chronic illness you've dealt with. I'm sure you all feel the same. It's so unbelievably frustrating. And a lot of people don't understand, and that makes it so much worse because you want people to understand. It's like you don't want them to have to go through this, obviously, but you still just sometimes you just need a fucking hug. You know what I mean? Just I don't know. Very, very frustrating to live like this, but it's you got to try to stay positive at the same time. But it's okay to vent too. It's okay to be angry and upset and frustrated because it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. But it's made me a better person. It has. I can't deny that. It's changed who I am for the better. So maybe that's the whole point of this. Who knows? Anyway, that's my story with Graves. And if you're suffering with Graves, please reach out to me or any sort of thyroid problem. I can help you try to figure out, ways to feel better. And I'm not a doctor or anything, but I can give you advice. But thank you guys so much for watching, as always. Thank you for all your comments, all your likes, just everything. I really do appreciate it. I am going to continue posting, obviously, chronic illnesses, mental health, supplements, just everything. But thank you guys so much for watching. Be well, and I will talk to you soon.